Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I am going to be working on my daughter's fifth grade year for her school album. Now, this is almost finishing up the album for her because fifth grade is her last year of elementary, so her elementary will be completely done. I will want to do like kind of a wrap up at the end of it, which I'm not ready to do yet. I got to print some more pictures for that one, but I will be having that come up soon. I just need to get the pictures printed, and then I can completely finish this album up. So I do need to do her fifth grade, which is what I'm going to do today. I have all of her stuff here saved. So this is everything from her fifth grade year that I wanted to incorporate into her album. And one thing I have done, actually, I've gone through a little bit in my other scrapbooks, and I pulled out anything that was kind of school related that were 12 by 12 layout, and I put them in their school album. So all of their school stuff is completely together now. So that's something that I haven't done in the past, but I added that. I just decided to do that. So I'm not going to do a full flip through quite yet. I will do that when I do my last page and kind of wrapping everything up, and then I'll do a full flip through of the album. But for today, I'm going to be doing her fifth grade. So that is third, that's fourth, and then we are getting into fifth. So as you can see, I have everything planned out. I know exactly where everything is going to go. I do have a layout as well to put in here for sure. I don't know if I'll have any more or not. Maybe I'll come up with something as I'm doing this, and I might want to add another layout or two that I could make. We'll see how it goes. But for right now, all of this is ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm having issues with, if I keep page protectors on my desk, these lights glare off them and it throws the color off. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can prevent that, but I still kind of need these on my desk so I can, know where things are going and I can just slide them in. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess, a better way to, maybe I could have them off to the side possibly, but I have other stuff here. I don't know. We're going to see. But for right now, it's going to be this page, this page, this page, and this page. So a whole bunch here. And then this will be the ending of it completely. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull, well, I guess all these out. So this will be a little bit of a longer video. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, but I'm doing basically a two-page spread here. So oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. And like I said, I will do a full flip through of the entire album for you when I do my last little bit. But that's just going to have to be, later. But it will be coming up soon because this is a project that I want to have completely done and not have it looming anymore. So, all right, enough jibber jabber. I'm going to pull out all my stuff here. I'm going to be cutting into a lot of things. A lot of her schoolwork is in here. She's got some ribbons and some, pins and stuff that I'm going to put in here as well. All her pictures are printed. So, yeah, we are going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this little circle that it's something that I had printed off someone's website and I can't for the life of me remember. I mean, I did this when Caylan was in kindergarten, so it's been a very long time. So I couldn't tell you where I got it, but they're just little circles and they have each grade and it says like fifth grade around it and stuff. And I've been using those on every single one of her years. So I'm going to use this one too. And then I went ahead and put my pictures down on the slots where they are going to go. And I have a couple things I'm just going to be pulling from. So I'm going to try to pull a few from these sticker sheets and from an Envera pack, both from October Afternoon, or Simple Stories, sorry. I think one sticker sheet is October Afternoon. The large one there is Simple Stories. But I'm just going to try to pull some things as much as I can. So I'm pulling everything that I had saved from her school year. And I will just start working on the cards here. So for her first day of school, it's a 3x4 picture. So I'm going to use a 4x6 card because I always put it up here right next to the intro for the first day of school there. And I need another one for down there. I do like that Adore on that card, but I'm not going to use it that way, so I'm just going to cover it up. And I like the blue color around it. And then I pulled a 3x4 card, a couple of them for a couple little slots there too. So I'm going to move everything to the side. Now, my desk is so incredibly messy right now. It was actually really hard to get these layouts done because I spent a lot of time just shuffling things around and moving things, and oh gosh, it was a process. This whole process took me almost 2 hours, and it really should not have taken me that long, to be honest with you. So, yeah, my next project is going to be to clean up my room and get things organized and everything. I just didn't have a lot of working room. Like what you see right there is pretty much what I had. All right, so for this card, I put down her picture and then I stamped the date of the first day of school that year, and I put "Too Cool for School" with a little star, and then I just did the journaling about her first day at school and how I was really proud of her because this was their first year at this school, because this is right after we moved back to Florida, and she took it like a champ. She was really excited to actually go to school, even though it was a brand new school, and it was her last year of elementary and it was a brand new school, but she was excited. So I was really proud of how adaptable she is, which is good in a military kid, right? And so I cut this little piece of cardstock into a banner, and I always put the school that they're in, the mascot of the school, and then what city and state it's in. And that's just for our memories over the years, because this is her third elementary school, I believe. She did kindergarten in Tucson, first, second, third, and fourth in New Mexico, and then fifth here. So, yep, 3 different elementary schools for her. Okay, so I covered up that Adore with this little piece that says "Welcome to 5th grade," and that's from a little welcome packet she got from her teacher. And then I put this little apple to kind of cover up the rest of that gold and just cut off the ends there. And then this one, I used a little die cut that says "Bus Stop," and they rode the bus this year. That was the first time they had ridden the bus, because when we were in New Mexico, we lived close enough to the school that I had to take them. And we didn't have bus services since we were so close. So I put the bus stop there. And then for the 5, I just put it on a card and called it good. You know, I'm not making anything like super elaborate or anything. These are her Valentines that she chose that year. And she doesn't do Valentines in middle school, but every year that they do Valentines for their classes, I keep one of them to put in their scrapbooks so that they can see, you know, what they decided to pick for the Valentines that year. And then I used this little sticker that says "I Heart School," and then I'm just writing Valentines underneath it, just to kind of use it up and just show that that's a Valentine. Because if I just put it down, like, it doesn't say "Happy Valentine's Day" on it or anything. So this is a picture of her friends from her class. This was actually at her birthday party at a bowling alley, but these are girls that were in her class, and one of them has moved away since, but the other 2 are still her friends today, and she still hangs out with them. So, yeah. So it's nice for her to have those pictures of her friends. And then I put the sticker on there that said "Classmates." So I put that on there too, because they were in her class. Okay, so for this next one, I have a picture of her sitting on her class bench that was sitting right outside their classroom. And it has their class mascot on it. Each class had a mascot, and hers was a lemur, because her teacher's name started with an L. So their class mascot started with an L as well. It was cute. So I'm going to cut down a couple of these pictures here. I ended up cutting this one down. That's her spring picture, and that's not the one I wanted to use. I wanted to use her fall one. So I have to go find her fall one. So I'm going to use this bigger one here. And that's her yearbook picture, basically. And then I have a couple of assignments and some things that she had filled out throughout the year that I'm going to include. I have some math and one of her report cards where she made AB honor roll, so I'm going to use that as well. So I'm just kind of gathering everything that I'm planning to use. And a lot of these things I'm going to be cutting down, most of it, but it's going to show a glimpse of her schoolwork. And that's really what I wanted, is to show just a little tiny glimpse of what she worked on in the school year. And I also, I forgot to mention on the first page, I had a card there that had her signature, and I keep those in each year. So every year when I start working on this, or when I start making plans for her school albums, I make sure I have her sign a card, and I just have her write her name on it. And that way it shows the progression of her handwriting throughout the years. And I'm going to keep that going through her middle school and high school as well. And so I think it'd be kind of fun to compare like kindergarten to high school, how her handwriting has changed and grown and everything. I forgot to mention that because that was already in there and I didn't have to work on that card. But okay, so for her yearbook picture, I used this pink hello card, and I'm going to grab some washi tape, and I'm going to use this kind of a aqua mint green almost washi tape because there's some of that color in her shirt. So it kind of helps bring that out. And so I'm going to put that down and have this, and then I'm going to use some enamel hearts on it as well, in kind of like a mint green color. So I'm going to pull them out, and those are the ones that I'm going to end up using. I'm just checking to make sure there's nothing else before I grab those. So I think I'm going to end up, yeah, I used the rest of these hearts here. I'm just going to kind of scatter them around. And that's going to complete that one. So I don't need anything, like these cards don't have to be elaborate or crazy busy, but they're memories that are documented. So, and definitely drinking my coffee. So pardon if my coffee keeps making an appearance. And I think I was watching YouTube as well. So I was kind of skipping through some videos and, making sure I was had on what I wanted to watch, but okay, so that paper right there that I just cut down and put in is like a vocabulary test that she had, and they were kind of some bigger words, and so I kept those, and this is a math piece of paper. I think I use a few pieces of math because, they really started getting into harder math and algebra and stuff. This is like a little sticker chart that she had that she filled out one month. I don't even remember exactly what that's for, but it has a ton of stickers on it, so it's kind of cute. So I'm just going to throw that down here. And this is her report card. So I'm going to make sure that the grades are on there, and use that AB honor roll ribbon along with it. So I'm going to lay it down so that I can still see all of the grades and everything. And so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to have to cut it down a little bit more on the bottom. Like for some reason, half the time I have to cut things down farther than I think. That's just the nature of the page protectors. So sometimes they fit perfectly the first time. Sometimes I have to cut them down 2 or 3 times to make them work. But all right, so there is that. So that part is done. And now I'm going to go on to the next one. And for this one, I have her spring picture up there. I have a 4x6 picture of a piece of art that she did that I took a picture of at one of her school events. And I'll write a little note about what that is. And then the rest of it is all schoolwork or journaling that I'm going to be doing. So there is one that's underneath the school picture there that I wrote down what sheet I want to use, and I can't find it. It's in there. I just can't find it. And it takes me way longer than I want to admit to find it. It wasn't what I was thinking it was for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I had a hard time like locating it. I kept looking over it and didn't realize that's what it was. So I'm going to end up putting it on. I move on to the next page for like 2 seconds, and then I find it and go, oh my goodness. So you'll see that here in a second. But one thing I'm doing right here is cutting down one of her, I think, science worksheets, and it's all about hurricanes. It's something that they definitely studied because we do live in a state and an area of the state that is hurricane vulnerable. So I cut that down. And then for this one, her art piece, for her art class, they had to do their own interpretation of the American Gothic painting. So they looked at the American Gothic painting and talked about it and everything. And then they had to do their own version of it, and they can make it however they want, but they had to have some of the same elements, like the two people and, stuff like that. And so she did Zelda because that's what she does. So I wrote on the little arrow, I put Caylan's versions of American Gothic. And I'm cutting down a math sheet, and again, cutting it down 5 times because for some reason I could not get it the right measurements. I was struggling, you guys. It was real. And let's see, what am I going to do next here? Another math. So I just had a lot of math. Not quite sure why, to be honest with you, but a lot of math what made it in here. Just that was mostly what she brought home. It was a big emphasis on math. And she was doing some harder stuff as well. So just wanted to showcase that a little bit. And now I have this handout that I got from one of the school events, and I'm going to cut out the logo of the school, and then I'm going to put it on a card. So I'm just looking for a 3x4 card that I can easily turn on its side. And I will cut this logo out and then put it on that card. So I'm cutting it with a little bit of a border. There's a little bit of a white border around it, and it's going to look really nice on that card with the yellow border. I really like the way that it ends up looking. And again, like nice and simple. I didn't have to do too much. It's just a little filler card, and yeah. So I'm going to put that there. I do need to cut off the tips a little bit on the top and the bottom. And then just throw that in there. And what else am I doing? Oh, I'm going to find some 4x6 cards here. So I need one for her spring picture. And I'm going to use this one right here. It's got yellow, and then there's a little bit of a pink border up there. And I'm going to not use the date part. I'm just going to use like the top of the frame. It'll be peeking out. So I'm just going to use that almost like something's tucked behind it. And then I have the same washi tape I used on her other one. And then I'm going to use a couple stickers here as well. So I'm going to use, I think maybe a die cut from here, a circle die cut. And I'm not planning to use what was on the other side of it. So I'm just going to put that there. And then I'm going to use a sticker from here that says I Heart School. And I'm just going to stick that on top of there too. So nice and simple. So here's where I can't find that paper, and I don't understand why I can't find it. So I start to move on to the other page, and then I find, like, I put some things down here, and then I find the other one, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'll go back there in just a second and figure it out. So there it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? You see me like go, ah. So I'm just going to cut this down to a 4x6. I have to cut a lot of it off, but you can see from the center of it what it's about. It's about the circulatory system, and they had to write a whole bunch of different things around. So even though most of it got cut off, you kind of see what they were studying. So it was good. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my other one, and I'm looking for some cards, and realized I forgot to do the hurricane journaling here. So I wanted to talk about Hurricane Michael, because Hurricane Michael came in that year, and we were on the very, very outskirts of it. So we were extremely lucky because it was heading right for us at one point. But we were very lucky that we only got the outskirts of it, but it's still like we had a lot of damage around here, and just imagining it was just the outside of it, we weren't in the middle of it. There's a lot of damage. School was canceled. My husband had off work for a few days, and just there was a lot of damage. So I just talked about that a little bit because that was a big thing that happened. And now I'm working on the last page here. So I'm getting some of my cards that I know I'm going to need. That is a school chorus performance that she did at the end of the year. That was a big thing for her that year, was being in chorus. They had a lot of different performances throughout the year, and performances around town, and chorus is kind of a big deal around here. So she loved being in chorus. It was something she always wanted to do before, but it was only like 5th grade. So finally she's like, I'm in 5th grade, I can do chorus. So we signed her up for it, and she absolutely loved being in chorus. Okay, so I'm going to come back here live for you in just a second to show you a technique that I'm going to use.
Okay guys, I want to show you something real quick. So Caylan got this chorus pin. So it's a pin that she could put on her backpack or on a lanyard or something. She doesn't usually do that. She has a couple pins on her backpack, but she didn't particularly, she wasn't like dying to put this one on there. And since it's especially from 5th grade, she's not using it now in middle school. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back off of it. So I'm just going to remove what my husband called this like a frog catcher or something. I was like, what in the world? I've never heard that before. But we have the pointy end. So I'm going to actually take that off, especially on pins like these. It's pretty easy to do this. So I'm just going to take a pair of pliers. These are my husband's Gerber. So I'm just going to get a good hold of it, and I'm literally just going to sit here and I'm going to just twist it with my hands, and it legit just like kind of comes right off. So I'm twisting it around right now, and I can kind of start doing that, and look, it's off. So it came off completely. So now I have to be very careful not to poke myself with that. But then I can put some adhesive on the back of this and I can put it down, and it's a flat embellishment now. So I'm going to put it right over here. And I think I'm going to use red line tape for this, just because it is a metal piece. And I'm almost at the end of one of my red lines. Here it is. So close to being done with this, look. So I'm going to put some red line tape on the back here. I'll put a couple strips on here just so that it makes sure that it stays down. But yeah, it's really pretty simple to get the backs of pins off, so I wanted to just show you guys that. So if your kids bring anything home like that and they don't want to, display it, or they don't want to put it on their backpacks or whatever, you can put it in your scrapbook very, very easily. You just got to get a pair of pliers and do a little bit of twisting back and forth and stuff, and then the backs come off very easily. So, all right, so I'm going to put this right over this chair. And now it is a flat embellishment on my card, and it can go right into my scrapbook. So I just wanted to show you guys that, a little trick to use some of these really cool, embellishments if you want to use them on your pages.
Okay, so that card there is done. I just did my journaling about her being in chorus and how much she loved it. Now this is a picture of her with her teacher. And I always make sure I get a picture of my girls with their teachers at some point throughout the year. Middle school, not so much. I could maybe get Caylan to take some. Since she has a phone, she could probably take some pictures of, maybe her favorite teacher or something. So maybe we could do that. So I put her name, wrote her name on a piece of cardstock and cut it into a banner. And I've been doing that every year as well. Now I have a couple cards here I want to put in. First one is a card that Caylan wrote to me from chorus. All the kids wrote like thank you notes to their parents for taking them to the performances and then allowing them to be in chorus, because it was, voluntary and stuff. And it was really sweet. So I put that on a card. And then this is my little end of the year letter to Caylan. I always write a little note at the end of the year. And, the biggest thing for this one was, I cannot believe you're done with elementary school. It's just crazy to me how quickly these kids grow up. It's really the blink of an eye. So I just talk about how proud I am and that she really thrived in school, and, she's a really good student. So very proud of that girl. Okay, this was a picture from her last day of school. Actually, I guess I'm going to do this one first. This is a thank you note from her teacher for her Christmas gift, I think, that we got her. So I just stuck it to the back of a card, and then I hung it over the page protector so you can easily lift it up and read the thank you note on the inside. So the top of the card is on the outside of the page protector. So it just kind of tucks right in there. this is her last day of school, and I put a little label on there, and I'm just writing the date. Okay, and so I'm going to come back to you here in just a second and talk to you live, kind of about how I'm going to finish everything up here.
Okay guys, I am finishing up. So I have grabbed some page protectors. I have some 8.5 by 11. I don't know how many I have in here. It doesn't look like very many. I might only have one, maybe two. But these are some Becky Higgins 8.5 by 11, but they're horizontal. So if I have, so for example, let's see, I have a certificate in here for Caylan's chorus, and it's 8.5 by 11, but it's this way. So I can easily put this in like this in this page protector. So that's pretty cool. And it goes in like that. I will need to back it with something else that is not horizontal, just because I don't have, oh yes, I do. I have something else horizontal here. This is a license plate that Caylan designed. I actually need to cut that down. But yeah, so I can include these two back to back. And basically what I'm doing is I'm taking some of these larger pieces that I don't want to really cut down all that much, or just have full pages of that. You know, some of these are papers that I think is really cool. I may not include all of them. I might actually. We're at the end of it, so I can fit all the stuff in here. But you know, this is like a big thing where she's learning the capitals of all this 50 states, and there's a map that she colored in and all that. So some of this stuff I'm going to be including in here. I forgot about this. I don't know if I want to put this. I don't really have anywhere to put this because I forgot about it, and I didn't include it in my plans. Let me see if there's anywhere I could maybe kind of sneak it. First place field day. Not really. If I did, I'd probably, well, actually I could do it here. Because this one I had to cut it down so much you can barely even really tell what it is. It's about hurricanes, but I did do Hurricane Michael right here because we experienced that this year. So maybe I'll stick it here because I really do want to put this in here. So I think I'm going to redo this and just replace this one. Like I said, I had to cut down so much anyway, so I'm really not like super concerned about that. So I think I'm going to fix that real quick, and then I'm going to put some of these papers in 8.5 by 11 page protectors, and I'm going to stick them in. You know, I'll put a couple in between the first two, and then a couple in between the last two. So yeah, that is what is going to be happening here.
Okay, so let me go ahead and fix this. So I'm going to grab a 4x6 card, and I just want something that I don't, you know, really need to put a whole lot on, especially since that ribbon is going to take up a whole lot of space. So I'm just going to grab this one here, and I am going to go ahead and just cut down the ribbon because it is longer than 6 inches. So I'll just cut it down a little bit, and then stick it on there. And I will embellish it a little bit. There's a couple of die cuts in one of these packs that talk about kind of activities, like I think there's a Red Rover one and one that says, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it says, and I literally just did it. There's one that says recess that I'm going to use, and then flag football, I think, or capture the flag or something like that. So just kind of outdoorsy, sportsy type of things. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring this washi tape back in one more time and just put a little bit there to kind of help ground where I can put some embellishments. So I'm going to put that down there, and then I'll just layer up some of these die cuts here. But it's a good excuse to kind of use some of these. Yeah, it says capture the flag. Then I start putting it in. I put it in, and then I forgot this one. I'm telling you guys, I was a mess making this. It was insane. All right, so I have that card done. I'm very, very happy with that. Now I'm going to start working on my 8.5 by 11 items. I'm kind of grouping them and seeing how I want to put them in together. And I'm just going to put them in page protector. So I'm going to start with like my up and down regular ones, and then I will do a horizontal one on the second page. So I have 2 page protectors here. This is like a big fold out piece, and it was all about, they're learning about Alexander Hamilton and the Declaration of Independence, and that was pretty big because she loves Hamilton. So that was kind of cool for her to be able to tie those 2 things together. So for this one, I put in the chorus certificate, and then I need to cut down this piece because it's much bigger than 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to cut it down to size, and I have to kind of figure out, I had to figure out, which side I wanted to cut down because I wanted to keep as much of it intact as possible. So I put that in there, and then this is the handout from their last day of school. Little performance thing that they did for all of 5th grade did it, and they got like a medal and stuff. That's some work that they did that I just really thought was cool. So I put that in there, and then I'm also grabbing a 12 by 12 because I have this layout of her chorus that I want to include in here as well. So here is a slow flip through of her 5th grade year. And yeah, so this is all complete now. So what I still need to do for this album is I'm going to add a couple more things to the backs of the 12 by 12 layouts that I have throughout the album. So I have a plan for that. So I'll do that. And I need to just kind of close it out. I'm going to have some pictures included throughout all of her school years in the very back of her album. So I need to do that. And then I will be able to just kind of finish it out. So when I do the back page, I will do that on camera, and then I will do a complete flip through of the entire album for you guys along in that. So that will be coming up here very soon because I plan to finish it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.